Hey everybody, welcome to episode 136 of the Bonehead Podcast, where we talk all things Blood Bowl. And jingle. Welcome back, I'm Ben, and today I'm not joined by Blood Tithe Ben. I'm not joined by Miltonio Banderas, but I am joined, as ever, by Tio Extraordinaire and one connoisseur, Ian Triple Pound Triple O Trips. How you doing?
Very good. I'm glad that I've managed to make it, despite the others going fishing or who knows where
Off
they are.
fishing, that's
Yeah,
perfect. I did kind of joke to them with both of them out. There's just going to be massive room for conspiracy. But no, fishing makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
But we're not going to we're not going to bait and switch too much. We are just going to go straight for it because today Trips and I are going to be catching up on gnomes and everything we know about gnomes. But before we dive straight in, a couple of things to say. Massive thank you to everyone out there who supports us in any way, shape, or form, whether you support us on Patreon, just on YouTube, liking, subscribing, or becoming a member. It's awesome. A couple of other things you can do to support the channel is just come and join us in the Discord and talk Blood Bowl. The Discord's been brilliant the last couple of weeks. It's kept me absolutely sane. And the guys savagely, what have they started calling you now?
General Wanobi.
Yeah, I thought that was absolutely brilliant. And I just want to say, if you're interested in Blood Bowl and you're interested in having a good, fun time, then do come and join us in the Discord because that is cool. And the other thing you can do to support us is come and join us on Monday night coming up. It's Monday night Blood Bowl, and myself and Trips will be playing some 11s. One of the teams will be Norse. I need to get the YouTube poll up over the next couple of days to see which team we'll be playing against. I have a sneaky feeling, Trips, it's going to be Skaven against Norse.
Oh, oh, well. I wonder who's going to run which team there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that might be a really good matchup anyway. Especially with that's kind of our teams, isn't it? But
Yeah.
ahead of that, we'll be doing our best to make sure that we've got some some less tech issues. And I got hit by another tech issue on the Gnome stream, which I felt completely robbed by because I brought the 5G router with me into the shed, and it just turned off halfway through. Well, no, it didn't turn off. The internet just ceased to exist halfway through. The power button was on, the connecting button was on. There was no internet. I was like, oh, I feel robbed. Absolutely robbed. But yes, Trips, let's dive straight in to gnomes. So, gnomes. Trips, you asked me a question just before we started filming. I'm going to ping it straight back to you and steal it and claim it as my own. Gnomes, when they drop, what was your first reaction?
So my first reaction when I saw the message on Saturday was, oh my goodness, it's actually a new team. Is this an April Fool that has somehow slipped into March? And then my next thought was, I wonder if Ben's even awake.
Yes, I was. I think I was feeding Libby. Luckily, we'd had a pretty good night, and everyone was quite happy. We were going around Tiff's family on Saturday to see the whole clan, so it was quite good vibes in the house. So we Friday night we went round to dinner with my mum and dad and my brother and his wife, fiance. So we like had a good Friday. Saturday we were kind of like in a good place, and then the news dropped, and I literally was like, right, I just fed her or something, and I just basically handed her to Tiff, and I was like, there's Blood Bowl news, I've got to go. She was like, okay then, which was awesome. Afterwards I came back and I said, that was kind of rude, I'm sorry. She was like, no, you seemed so excited, like I was happy, very happy for you to just go. And I was like, yeah. And the studio is a mess because I've not done anything with it since the last stream, basically. So I need to try and find some time to finish tidying it up and get rid of some of these extra bits. So I've had a clever idea. But no, and then boom, it hit. And I think your message was the first one that comes through at like every Sunday at 6 p.m. Like I have severe anxiety To the point now where Tiff has even said, "Oh, has Trips messaged yet?"
Yes. There's nothing in the preview, or there's a tease in the preview of an article, which means we're safe till Monday.
It's like stand down, stand down.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess one thing for everyone out there, we'll do a recap in a second about everything that we know. But we are recording this on Wednesday, the 6th of March, and I would bet money we'll get an article on Thursday, the 7th of March. So depending on what and when this might come out after, but you just stick with us, you'll be fine.
Listen to the podcast. If there's breaking news, I refer you to the breaking news video.
Yeah,
It'll be in your
exactly.
podcast feed.
Like, you already know this. You already know this. All right, Trips. So this dropped randomly on Saturday. There was no preview video, no 45 minutes of two blokes looking at books, congratulating themselves. They just went live with this article. Is that right? And a little 45-second video, which is quite entertaining with the little fairy tale stuff.
Yes, straight in, part of Warhammer anniversary. It was literally like, oh, there's the Blood Bowl symbol. Does it really say gnomes? And just like, and you could literally see the Blood Bowl world just stop and go, just gonna go and have a look at that. What is going on?
Is this for real? I know. There's been some brilliant takes. We've seen some fantastic comments on our videos and also in the Facebook community. Would it be outrageous, Trips, if I was to say that this release or preview has been a little bit divisive within the community?
I'd say it's been a little divisive. It's definitely generated some content, some friction, some engagement. Let's put it that way. It really has brought everyone to look at it. I think most people are on the side of going, it's amazing, maybe amazingly silly, but still amazing. And then there's definitely been a little bit going, exactly what is this doing in Blood Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some. I think the thing I've enjoyed the most is the crackbacks of people, because there's lots of threads. Now, I've got to say that within our community, I would say 5 out of 6 people are really excited, are well in with the silliness, and that's cool. And I think a part of that, and I know that we sit in the same camp, is so much third party and so much proxying that if you've got a team that drops with bad models, it doesn't matter because you will find other models to use, right?
Absolutely. And the thing that I think was really different about this set of models that we haven't seen before, if you take away the fact that you know it's a Blood Bowl team, you might not know it's a Blood Bowl team looking at the miniatures, because most of them are not wearing football gear, aren't holding a ball. You would think that, like, Moonstoners leaked into a GW preview.
Yeah, I mean there is a cacophony of punch blades, which is very worrying. But this is something that I think is really good. But what I was saying is that like lots of people seem to be really behind it. And then when people are like, "Why is this? This looks too silly," like you said, Trips. This doesn't fit the world of Blood Bowl. This doesn't make any sense. They look like they're doing sports. You know, this is silly. Like this shouldn't be in Blood Bowl. The wonderful crackbacks to the line of, "Do you mean like a goblin on a pogo stick?"
It's or a halfling and eating a master chef and sticky buns.
Yes, exactly. Or a halfling on a goat. I
Yes.
was like, okay, all right, you know what, that's fair enough. Yes. The other thing that I think is really quite cool about this is you just called it out, Trips, because this doesn't look archetypically like a sports team with trolls. There's a lot of interest from non-Blood Bowl players. Like Tiff looked at this and she was like, "That is wicked." And I've seen a lot of comments saying like, "My wife wants this team,"
I
or
was going to say I've heard a lot of that. I think if you are an avid Blood Bowl fan and you have been looking for a way to get your other half into Blood Bowl, I think gnomes might be your entrance that you've been looking for. And if not, well, you've got a gnome team.
yeah, I mean, you called it that. This is also, which I think is very clever and unusual for Games Workshop. This is a 30. I don't know how much it is at Games Workshop anymore. £35 for a box of 14 RPG models. So if you know, like this is, if you want some gnome NPCs, This is a box of everything you want. You get some badgers, you get some gooses, some geese, goosey eye. You get some foxes, and you just get a whole bunch of gnomes that are not armed, so are perfect for NPCs. So I just, as far as having models for model's sake goes, this is the first team since Snotlings that I think people are going to look at and be like, oh, that looks cool. I'll buy that anyway.
Yeah.
I'll buy that to paint. I'll buy that for fun. I'll buy that for lols because I can use it. And I'm very much behind having kits be that popular. So let's talk about what's in the box before we kind of hit on that. So in the box, do we have a picture of the cover art? No, we don't. You get 2 of the what are called Beast Masters, which are the guys with the sticks. Now it looks like they come with a goose and a badger. I'm assuming because the way Games Workshop do their sprues, you'll get 2 badgers, 2 gooses, and you can pick and choose. There's 2 foxes looking like alternate parts, one with a ball in his mouth and one not. And then there is a whole bunch of gnome folks with a couple of interesting models, particularly the one who looks like they've got a magic ball being swapped behind their back here, the one that people are calling the witch model.
Yeah.
So, and I think there's 14 models in the box. Well, there's 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 models if you base the badgers and geese separately. And there will be trips. I don't believe Acorn is ever going to be a squirrel on a Blood Bowl pitch again. I think he will only ever be a goose or a badger. I think Acorn just got gazumped.
Well, he may well have definitely gone that way. I mean, people were reacted to a beer boar of a boar carrying a pint of beer on their back. The people that got triggered by that, they have been flinching a lot in the last week.
What is this? Animals of Farthing Wood. But I don't know. Animals of Farthing Wood was all right. What was the one with the rabbits that was just horrific? Watership Down.
Push it down, yes.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if you want to be depressed, just I mean, Bambi is also archetypically depressing. I haven't seen it, but yes. So I haven't seen many Disney movies, which upsets the heck out of Tiff. I still haven't watched The Lion King. He's like, how? Like, well, I tried once and fell asleep, and then
You probably should watch it. It's probably coming to Blood Bowl in about 2 years' time.
well, we've had the Savannah team, and we've got the Way of
Yeah.
Games monkey team over there on the desk, so you're not far off. So the team box comes with all that: badgers, geese, foxes, and gnomes. Then they've got a new tree man, which at very first sight I thought was just an alternative sprue. What I thought they'd done was put in tree man parts on the gnome sprue, but it's actually a different model. It's got a different pose than the existing tree man, which trips solves the problem of having 2 treemen of an identical pose. Now you've got 2 treemen that are of such similar ilk that you might think they were the same, which is perfect for a 2 big guy team.
Is absolutely perfect, but will we see Tree Man number 2 wait as long as Tree Man number 1 did to get released? Because it was best part of 2 years.
Ooh, was that the longest model, or was it the Croxagore?
I think it was the tree and then the Croxagore, and Grasnak nearly got there, but he eventually came out.
I kind of give the Croxagore and Grashnak a bit of a pass because at least that's Forge World, right? The tree man's plastic. No, I tell you what I do like. I like the kind of interesting pieces on this tree. It looks like it's got a couple of spare faces, which we're good to see. And we've had some wonderful people flag this up. They're like, I don't know, you see this? Like, is that a Bretonian shield? Because it's painted the same way as all the Games Workshop Bretonian stuff at the moment. It's like the classic blue and red, which has been quite interesting. I think what it actually is that disappoints some people is the you know, when you go, well, I say when you go to, you know, when you're in D&D and you go to the pub trips, the
Yes.
pubs have all got swinging signs
Pub
on.
sign, yeah.
They have those in England, or have they all been stolen? Probably that.
Probably health and safety took them down because we were all trying to hang off them.
Good times. So we've got this Forest Friends team. Now, there are a few snippets of rules. Now, this is what I mean by sorry if Thursday's happened. I've just got this feeling. I've got my spidey senses tingling, my video senses tingling. What's Tiff doing tomorrow? She's got a baby class, so that's in the morning. Okay.
That's not cool.
Might have to skip the daily baby walk tomorrow just in case. I can't remember what I was gonna say. Oh yeah. This is what we know so far about
Snippets of information, yeah.
the team. They are stunty, as it says. Like other stunty teams, the gnomes have a particular rivalry with halflings. Most of the players come at budget cost, blah blah blah. Even then, regular gnome linemen have to jump up and wrestle, giving them a surprising solid counterpunch despite their poor armor value. So they are stunty, they've got rump up, and they've got bad armor. And we put those pieces together on our Sunday night speculation stream where me and chat got together and basically kind of figured out or guessed what we could have. And we'll come to that later because I'd love to get your thoughts on it, Trips. So those are what we think the linemen have. Then there is the Beastmaster, which other than the Fox, which is pretty much a very obvious positional and obviously going to be called the Fox, the Beastmaster is the old stick boy, the shepherd. Has he got an alternative stick? He does have an alternative stick. He's going to have guard. So Trips, we're going to get a first positional ever have guard, and it's a flipping stunty.
I mean, well, we suspect it's a stunty. They're a stunty team, so will all the players be stunty is going to be an interesting question. But to have a player with guard is, well, it's a great skill that everybody loves having. So to get it on a positional, that's just going to be a lot of fun.
I mean, I love rump up. I think it's a really interesting set of skills. I think that's in itself very interesting. And
I like it gives the twist that snotlings have. So snotlings have the twist of sidestep everywhere, and we have all played push the snotling round the pitch and go, I'm chasing a snotling where he wants to go.
Merry little chase, yeah.
Yeah, stunty teams should be annoying. They should be like, they either go squish and explode, or how the hell did they do that?
Yeah, and they've leaned very much into the whole idea that this team is about trickery and illusion. Having rump up is very cool because it nullifies block, which is superb. The real question is, and this is what we kind of talked about on Sunday, will they have dodge as well? As they've got stunty, maybe not the Beastmaster, we don't know but it's the average lineman, rump up, stunty. With dodge, they would potentially be the most elusive player of all time.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on dodge?
All the stunty teams have dodge, so that sort of makes logic. But the fact that they've said they are low cost as well means they're either really punishing another stat somewhere, or they aren't going to get dodge, because otherwise they're getting a load of great skills to start off with, and they just you would take them forever and a day at a ridiculously low value.
Yeah, it would be a super elusive. Now, do you think that plays into the kind of discussion around strength 1 or strength 2?
Yeah, I mean, my first thought was they could be strength 1 players. Putting a guard piece in would give you an excuse to make them strength 1. The fact that it's only probably 2 Beastmasters, though, I think strength 1 across the board for linemen would mean that they'd go from being silly fun to exploding fun very quickly.
I think you're right. I think what you said there, like there have to be a trade-off. If they are if they're rump up and dodge, which I will name Rogers, then they have to be strength 1. Otherwise, it's just unnecessary, I think. But if they're strength 2, then I don't think we'll see dodge, because I think strength 2 wrestle. Because if you think about wrestle versus dodge, if you're punching a guy, it's the same, right? If they don't have block or they don't have dodge, if one's got wrestle, one's got dodge, then it's that side of the dice that's safe. But I think wrestle has a bit of an advantage when you're being punched in that you could bring them down, it ends that player's turn. So if someone blitzes you and both down, so you just go wrestle.
Yeah.
Their turn is over. If someone punches you without block and you get a wrestle, you can just, all right, I'll take the punch to the face and you get a turnover if you don't have block. So I think there's a combat, like a scuffle benefit to wrestle, but dodge is going to help you run around. Stunty is going to keep you potentially 3+ forever. But if you no dodge, the team's relying on team re-rolls. And I mean, you talked about snotlings and that kind of stuff. We've run halflings before as well, as I think, haven't you, Trips?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
if you take the 3+ dodge, you use dodge, then you make another 3+ dodge, and you use a team re-roll. That kind of gives you the extra safety net. Running with a very different set of reserves without dodge on your standard lineman. That's very interesting. But
Yeah. I could see their armor being 6 as opposed to the halflings, which are 7. Snotlings are 6 as well. So you could
that would be a
see
good
them
trade.
going, yeah, we've given them the skills and we've taken it off their armor. So when they do go down, and they're not going to go down, as you said, all the time, they're likely not to be getting back up again. But on the odd occasion they do, they will jump up and you'll be like, oh. It'd be like whack-a-mole.
Yeah, so this is why I am so excited about the potential of this combination of skills on a stunty team. One, I love cage diving, right? Strength 2, good dodge wrestle is where I live as a Skaven coach, right? Because I have no problem 4+, 4+ plussing a guy into a cage and taking a 1 die or 2 die negative block with wrestle, because it's going to work sometimes and it's going to pop the ball out. And then I'm going to have a chance to swoop in and get the ball. And with these guys, not only do you probably have that scat, you also have a stunty guard piece as well, potentially, that can mince into a cage and turn that 2 die up block into 1 die. 1 die wrestle on a blitz on a ball carrier is fantastic. Like, well up for that. And I think that's just flipping magic.
Yeah, especially because if your players then die afterwards, it's okay because you're probably starting with 13, 14 of them anyway. So
yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, I think it's really cool. But now we have seen, Trips, if you can cast your memory back to a Tombstone tournament of I think in the before times. Do you remember Joe Solo and the Nurgling army?
yes,
They were a stunted team from the Secret League, and their positional, their linemen were strength 1. They were snotlings basically, but they had guard, which was messy.
it was. It made for a lot of who's got guard. I seem to remember because it was like, oh, they're all strength 1, but actually they're all strength 2.5.
I like that. And the other thing, which I really do like, is this team. They've said somewhere that there's going to be a pair of trees on them. I think
Yeah,
one of the other art. I don't know if it's the other article or somewhere someone said, but there's going to be 2 trees. A guard piece between 2 trees. That's 2 strength 7 trees. If you're up against a standardized line, strength 3 line, that's that guard piece it gives extra die blocks to the tree without any effort at all. Then the guard thing can give your strength 2 or players additional profitable blocks as well. So it takes that front that you get. If you play against halflings or something, there's a couple of trees, and then often they'll use one of their star player slots as a hitter. That's their opening block. If you've got a couple of guard in there, you can potentially open up with 3, 4, 5 profitable line blocks, which can cause them to be really bashy. And even if they don't have block, it keeps your team consistent by using wrestle if you need to. And wrestle still causes a hole in the line. And with rump up, they're going to be popping up, like you said, free, no cost to them, with the exception that their tackle zone's gone. That's really interesting. I do like the new tree. Although I did think it was the same as the old tree.
it's close enough that it's definitely a tree man of the tree man family without being exactly the same, and we see a lot of different trees. As you said earlier, the third-party options are really there. So this looks like a very good option. It doesn't look like it comes with a 3-star player on the shoulder, though.
I think we're good for animals for now. One thing in the video as well that came out, click tab, was this gentleman here who is featured in the 45-second preview clip. And it is Rodney Roachbait, which is the first named star player, the first revealed star player for Gnomes. We normally get 3-star players, right, Trips?
We normally get 3, so we usually get one spoiled before, one the week of, and then the other one is basically at the team drop time.
Is that why you think we're not ready for team rules and stuff yet?
I think we're a couple of weeks away. I think we're looking like an April in hand, which means even with extended 2-week previews, I think we've got probably preview maybe next weekend, and then pre-order the week after.
So Sunday the 17th, it's coming up. 23rd, it's on order. 30th, it's coming out.
I reckon it'll be a 2-week
So you think
pre-order.
6th of April, potentially?
Yeah, in the hand on the 6th, yeah.
When's Easter?
That's the first week of Easter. The Easter holidays are the first 2 weeks of April, so I think Easter Sunday is the last day in March. Must be the 31st.
31st, interesting. I was just thinking because that might slow things down. I'm not sure how they work. It doesn't seem to normally slow them down, but like you said, it can force a 2-week preview window instead of, because of it not being a real day in the calendar for most places.
And we've seen a lot of 2-week pre-order windows since sort of November, December time. That may well be related. Yeah, stock issues.
So I still think that's quite an optimistic timeline. It goes up like that's and obviously not as optimistic as it could be, which was preview 10, pre-order 16, out the 23rd, magic. That is bang the fastest it could possibly be now with Games Workshop.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, because Dorset Dungeon Bowl is the 20th of April. If that team comes out on Saturday the 6th, are we using tour play this time?
So we've for anyone coming to Dorset Dungeon Bowl, the gnomes and star players that I don't play Dungeon Bowl, so it will be just the gnomes. The gnomes will only be eligible for tour play if tour play has the gnomes in Dungeon Bowl by the roster deadline.
Yeah. I'll tell you what college do you think for them?
I think life.
Life.
I mean, it'd be
is the
easy to say
obvious one.
heavens because everyone's in heavens. They're definitely not going to be death. They don't feel fire. Shadow, potentially with the illusion.
Shadow. I think they'll probably end up in life, which would be a massive shame. But College of Shadow makes sense thematically because they are illusory grey mages, which in the old Warhammer lore is the lore of shadows. So it would make sense for them to fit into that college. And boy howdy, that would be quite entertaining to see. It might be fun. It's not definitely going to suit them up, I don't think, but it could be very useful. Right, Rodney Roachbait is a star player that's been previewed, and for our ordinary listeners out there, he is a garden gnome in all senses. He's even got a fishing rod, and he's hooking the ball on it. What was your first thoughts when you saw this model drop, Trips?
Funny story about this. So I was playing my Fumble game this week against a kind of remote Chaos Renegades, and one of their players was called Rodney. Literally, as this popped it all over the chat, and I'm like, "Why is this chat about Rodney? Why is everyone talking about Rodney?" I'm trying to squish him. But when I saw this model, first thing I thought when I saw this model was it is a great model. It just looks so much fun. And then the second thing was there is a ball on a rope. That cannot be an accident.
Which links very nicely to a couple of things that's in there. So he's got stunty, sidestep, jump up. He may have wrestle, he may not have wrestle. But Catch of the Day is his superstar power. Once per half, if Rodney is standing and begins his activation within 3 squares of a ball, which is on the ground, he may roll a d6. On a 1 to 2, nothing happens. On a 3+, Rodney immediately gains possession of the ball. What are your thoughts on that, Trips?
Well, my thoughts on that are that is an amazing ability. For 70k, why would you not have this star player in your team? And not only is it amazing, I think for me the key is it's once per half. That's most of the star player abilities are a one-off and can do them. The fact that it's once per half means you're basically going to have him hawking around as you desperately try and pop the ball out, or by any chance your opponent throws the ball or fumbles the ball or in some way at all. You're
Now,
just gonna.
it is at the start of his activation, so he does need to be near. But I mean, I'm immediately thinking, sweet, cage dive with a wrestler, pop the ball out. If Rodney's nearby, boop, he just gets a free opportunity to pick up the ball and then hand off to one of the foxes, and off the fox goes or whatever. It's just, but on the receipt of the ball, when you're receiving, that's on the ball standing, right? That's without moving. It's just, I'll try and pick up the ball, then I'll walk over, try and pick up the ball again. And yeah, once per half. So I think that is really, really, really good. Now, he's 70k, and it's looking awfully like he's going to be strength 2, the same as everybody else. So, bye-bye, microphone. So I don't think it's going to be completely overpowered. And he has been flagged as having Halfling Thimble Cup, which makes a lot of sense. And that's kind of means it's going to be Halflings or Gnomes that can take him. And for 70k, very affordable. Do you think, Trips, or how do you feel about this guy potentially showing up so frequently? He's kind of like Deeproot, a pseudo positional on the team rather than just a star that you take as part of the toolbox.
I think what we see with halflings is halflings without any of the stars are they're not even a tier 3 team. They're a tier 3.5 team. They're pretty dire.
Hopeful it's in the name, right?
Yeah, they literally need these players to give you a chance, and then you're very reliant on one way. So I think we'll see him a lot. I think it's great. The first thing I saw when I read the article was that the keyword, and I straight away went to. So although he doesn't like halflings, he's probably going to be able to play with halflings, and a load of halflings, and Griff, and Rodney. There's potential there. There is definitely potential there.
Well, it will be interesting to see whether Gnomes get Old World Classic. Because if they're right, this is a Gnome release, and it can be a Halfling Thimble Cup. So that says, I think, very obviously that they are going to get access to Halfling Thimble Cup. Do you think they're going to get Old World Classic as well?
They usually have 2 keywords, so it would make sense. Although, because they are gnomes, I could see them just having Halfling Thimble Cup as just a solo keyword.
I think it would be better if they didn't have Old World Classic. I think it would be, because there's a lot of clamoring, isn't there, for the regional rule. Like, is the bit of the boogeyman at the moment. It's the John Wick of the Blood Bowl universe, where it's the same star players all the time. If you start limiting regional access, then so for example, these gnome players, they land, and if gnomes can only use the gnome players, well, and some of the Halfling Thimble Cup stuff, it starts to be less egregious. Basically, if you don't have access to Griff, that's one less team that's always going to take Griff.
Yeah.
Which, and Griff's not even like the main issue at the moment, but he's in the top 5. So it's one less, because gnomes with Griff might be, well, that might be very, very fun. But again, it's just Griff again, isn't it?
It is. And I mean, the Megastar rule definitely would impact teams with you take Griff and you're going to be losing skills and details, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see the double keyword there.
It'd be interesting. So with that in mind, let's go slideshow. Here we go. We did our Sunday speculation on Sunday, and this is what chat and I put together based on some very simple stuff. We've got the Beastmaster, we've got the Fox, we've got the Lineman, and there is potentially the Witch positional, the piece with the flaming balls. Trips, flaming balls, good or bad? Do we think this is a good thing?
If you ask me, flaming balls in life and flaming balls in Blood Bowl, you get two slightly different answers. So I think in Blood Bowl can only be good.
We think we're going to have a witch. So line gnomes, chat. I've got your camera over there, so I'll read it out. Chat think halfling stats 5, 2, 3 plus, 4 plus, 7 plus with the armor. No dodge, but with rump up, right stuff, and stunty. And they think it'll be about the same cost as a Black Orc Goblin, if that is the case. Does that feel about right, or do you have some counters to that one?
I think that the armor will be one less.
Mm.
And then I think the price will be about right because halfling linemen are 30k.
And they're armor 7, aren't they?
They're armor 7. Snotlings are 15k. They come with more skills, but they only have strength 1 as well.
I think that's...
so that it feels like they've got a lot.
They've got a lot of good stuff, haven't they?
Yeah.
Wrestle is a premium skill.
Yeah.
It's not block, sure. It's not block, sure, hands, dodge are obviously the king of skills, but wrestle is definitely tier 1.5 on the skill front. Foxes. What does the fox say? Chat thinks movement 7, strength 1, edge 3 plus, passing nothing, armor 6 plus, dodge, stunty, and then potentially itchy. And they had a great little chat. They were like either movement 8 or movement 7 with sprint, and then some kind of skill. So 2 skills. They think 2 kind of skills. Either sure hands or monstrous mouth was the one that was bandied around, or sidestep or sprint. So something to show that they're flichity. And really great suggestions were wild animal as a skill.
That could work. I wouldn't be surprised to see them have a unique trait, similar to the beer balls.
Or hit and run.
Oh, yeah.
I love Amazons. I really do. That roster is primo. I think so.
I mean, I look at the Fox runners and go, they're junior gutter runners. So I've already decided that I strongly dislike them.
Yeah, I've already decided that I slightly love this team. Okay, excuse me. So with that in mind, Foxes, the biggest bit of consternation was, again, with the gnomes. Everyone's like, well, they might be strength 1. They might just be big, but strength 1. The Foxes, strength 1. I think the reason people were thinking of strength 1 is because, well, Acorn's strength 1, which then brought out the chat of squirrels are significantly smaller than foxes. But then that squirrel is all about corn, so it might just be steroided up.
Yeah, the fact the article talked about them running through the pitch with the ball, you just wouldn't want to run. You have your main position, or you run off having strength 1. That just feels like a very bad way to go.
So thinking strength, like you said, junior gutter runner.
Yeah,
I'd be all right with that. I'd be very cool with that. I think that's good. I think, yeah, I think that's going to be potentially very, very, very cool. Then you got the Beastmaster. Chat thinks halfling stats, worst passing 5 plus, and then every skill in Blood Bowl was named for this positional. We started with rump up, and then they were like, well, they might have frenzy because badgers and goose are just generally speaking psychotic animals, but they might have dauntless because generally speaking they're psychotic animals. They might have multi-block because generally speaking they're psychotic animals. The ultimate thing is that chat really doesn't like animals. They're very scared of animals, which is funny because you'd think guard was the most intimidating thing about this piece.
Yeah. I don't think they'll have much more than guard, because I think the animal nature of the Beastmaster
He's
is
guard.
there in guard. Yeah.
One thing that chat were very excited about, which I don't think will land, but I was personally very excited about, is the potential when you buy the Beastmaster, you choose their sidekick. And the Badger gives you like frenzy, but the Goose gives you swoop.
Oh,
I know, right? That's
that would be great, and I applaud anyone who custom rules it like that. But that effectively would be another positional, and that's going to break the team mold.
But just think of the tree man lifting up, grabbing the gnome, yeeting him across the pitch, and he just unfurls this goose and swoops
Oh,
down on the legs.
but
That
you'd
would
have to have swoop and right stuff then, and before you know it, you're like, and that's a 170 piece
yeah.
positional.
Maybe. Right, the witch was the biggest question mark. Again, they think potentially there might be the passer, so maybe passing 3+. Otherwise, same kind of stats. Again, we got a ton of skills because obviously the idea is that these guys are illusionists, they're tricksy. So they were like, well, okay, she's swapping the ball round. So we're thinking, what about dump off, nerves of steel, fumblerooski, you know, I mean, you're a dump off connoisseur.
Oh, I would love to see another piece with dump off. I think there's plenty of potential there with dump off. I can't see nerves of steel because that's a damn good skill.
Yeah, but it's also a very underutilized skill. And dump off nerves of steel would mean you could run your witches in pairs, which would be at least effective. Because the thing is, the good thing, you put those skills on a proper player, and they're a nightmare, right? But you put them on a stunty, and you kind of like, okay, well, you've got to run hot here and not fail a dice roll, and I've got to run cold here and not break your armor, or it's over. And I
Yeah.
like that kind of tempo, high risk, high reward. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on the witch piece here? If it is even a piece, it looks like a piece, right? It looks like a
It
miniature.
looks it looks like a piece. It does look like the throw. It'd be good to see them have some options around it. I think it'll be something short range option and detail. I don't, unlike the fox or the beast. I don't think this will be a trait. I think this will be a skill combination. Let's just hope they don't do them dirty and give them Fumblerooski or something that you look at and go, that's going to happen once in every 7 years of playing this
Once in a
team.
league. Yeah. I mean, this is my absolute favorite thing about a new team is scouring the team box. Because do you remember when ogres were released all those years ago, and there was genuine like absolute buzz and excitement because one of the runts, one of the Noblars had a broken bottle, and everyone was
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god, dirty player Noblar."
Yeah.
Yeah,
We had throwing concoctions and all sorts of wonders and
yeah.
detail.
And then Snotlings landed, and we had the guy with the wizard. This is the only one. This is the thing that makes me a little bit nervous about getting too excited about the potential of the witch piece here. Is there's a full-blown wizard in the Snotling team, and he does nothing but die the same way as everybody else, which is remarkably charming because there's a guy with a trumpet as well. But yes, but yeah, there's this one. This is probably the thing I'm the most excited to find out. What is this positional? What does the witch do? What does the fox say, and what does the witch do?
Yeah.
What else did we flag? Cat thought no to the kicker piece because we thought this guy may have had kick. He looked a bit like he was punting, but actually he looks like he's just having a jaunty little walk. So chat were like, no, no kicker. Don't worry about that. I mean, we'll see, right? We will see. So that's everything that we know about gnomes for now. Which means we're in speculation mode for now. I've asked you what college you think that'll be in Wizardland in Dungeon Bowl. So let's assume that there is a 3-star player release for gnomes, based on how incredibly left field they are, and the fact that the first star we've seen is a garden gnome with a fishing rod. What do you think The other 2 slots could be for gnomes. Assuming they're going to have 2 slots.
Yeah, I mean, we could go right back in Blood Bowl lore, and they were in the original Blood Bowl compendium as forest folk on the Centaur team, and just to sit and watch the internet's reaction to a Centaur star player would be amazing, because they could have like trample or some other horrible kicking skill. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we'll get another variant of like a halfling hefty, so maybe a gnome hefty or something like that.
What's the archetype? What do they normally drop? It feels like there's one player that's a boosted positional or a boosted player, a boosted lineman normally.
Yeah, boosted lineman, which we've had.
A big guy,
which we could get a different star player tree.
And then there's normally one secret weapon or one what I would call a peculiarity. And we're assuming that Rodney Roachbeak doesn't have secret weapon. We're assuming that he doesn't have a secret weapon. Yeah, so
which makes sense because it's not a weapon, it's almost a tool rather than a weapon, isn't it? All the secret weapons.
I would say a fishing rod would be less invasive to a game than riding around on a goat. Potentially. Yes. I feel like the fishing rod passes. There we go. We need a new bash or dash. Is it flash or trash?
Fishing rod or goat?
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so yeah, I mean, there's normally a big guy, like you said, another tree. But the cool thing is, because they're doing this, they can do anything. Because they're illusiony, they could do a big guy that's an elemental, or they could do Will-o'-the-Wisp kind of thing, like a Will-o'-the-Wisp star player. Something like that. I hope they go creative, because star players are like the best place for them to just add stuff. You know, like the Snake Man got added, the Zote got added, like stuff. Just it's like their little window of winning.
Yeah, a junior tree. There is a real space for a tree that's better than a tree, but not deep root better than a tree, because deep root's very expensive.
Yeah, well, Mighty Blow +2 makes him very, very useful.
Yeah.
I would like if they bring another gnome in. I'd love a dirty player gnome, because with all this wrestle, you're gonna be primed for putting the boot in.
Do you think they'll have a halfling hating star player?
That would be very cool, because I know that there's the whole animosity thing. Quite excited for the halfling gnome matchup, you know, with like 5 trees on the pitch and a bunch of stunties.
It does seem to be the one thing that people have gone, I never really thought a tier 3 team versus a tier 3 team would be interesting to watch. But yeah, halfling gnomes could be quite an entertaining, if very bloody pledge.
I think that might be one of the first games that we run with gnomes. I don't think the first game, because you want to see how gnome kind of goes against a good team. Probably something like Norse. Is Norse they're powerful, but they're kind of mid-range, right?
Yeah.
I feel like they're a good, you know, them or orcs, I think, are a really good team to kind of try out first of all. But then we need to absolutely bust out halflings versus gnomes. In fact, I might see if Warhammer's got a halfling team painted up, or whether he's blooming sold it again, because he had a very lovely halfling team, and that would save us painting a team. All right. Any more thoughts on the gnome shenanigans trips?
So I think my biggest thought is, isn't it great to see a completely new team off the bat? There are teams of legends still to go out, but everyone wondering about, is there going to be a new box? Is Blood Bowl not being supported as well? This is truly left field, and great to see that the fun side of Blood Bowl is represented in this new team.
I mean, I personally couldn't agree more. I think there's a whole ton of good stuff about it, and I know that in this, and this is where someone like Ben is so useful to have, because I've got 2 points that kind of key into how he, likes to think. There is definitely some vocalization of this is a not a diversity grab. I don't mean like that, but this is a play to diversify what is available within Blood Bowl, instead of like ugly team, ugly team, ugly team, ugly team, and they chuck it in cutesy team, which has felt to a lot of people, and this is some of the comments you see, like, oh, they're just bringing in cute stuff now to bring other people into the game. I mean, personally, bring people into the game. All I care about is the stats of this team, because you just use a different team. Like, if you don't like the models, use a different team. There are people who are playing Norse using teeny tiny penguins, and it looks brilliant, and people love it. And I'm like, that is what Blood Bowl is. If they're like, oh, gnomes are stupid, gnomes look stupid, get gnomes that don't look stupid, because in about 4 days, Realm of Paths, Brute Fun, Punga, they're gonna have Chaos Gnomes for you, and it's probably gonna be fine.
Oh yeah, you've got to think that this week has been a reprioritizing of the next couple of teams coming for a few of our third-party friends.
I flipping hope so. Although the Games Workshop team is very good. This is going to take some serious beating, I think, which is unusual, because the Amazon team was fine. The Vampire team was good, but the Brute Fun Vampire team kind of trashes the Games Workshop one from a standing point. The Punga and Ugni Amazon teams just stomp all over the Games Workshop one. But this Gnome team, they've gone so hard on the stylization, it's going to be a hard one to beat. This, like, the Gnome team versus the Halfling team on the pitch is going to look so much fun that there are going to be so many people going, what is this?
Yeah, I think what's nice about this team is we look. So many people looked at it and gone, I'm going to get this team because I want to paint the team up. I think we're going to see plenty of Smurf teams. I mean,
Yes.
even Ben's and he's our like ultimate checker of whether a model is stylized, I believe is the phrase we use, or not. He's really looking forward to painting them, and of course, as he's not here, we'll mention that there is a pre-order bonus available on brushtithe.com for the gnomes if you desperately want somebody else to paint them for you. And I think we're going to see a lot of people pick this up really quickly because of the fact they are really great models. And the preview, and I think you've said it in your videos as well, they are really doing Blood Bowl miniatures well. The basing is excellent.
Yes.
But they are bringing them to life as models, and these are fabulous paint jobs, and I think that's really helping with the excitement.
I think Games Workshop, in a way, have got their act together in regards to the product that they're selling. I know they're having distribution issues,
Yes,
and all kinds of issues
yeah.
but
They
you
have
know, from a
definitely
corporate,
got us to buy it.
yeah,
Buy it.
from a corporate lifestyle, that's one team's problem, where everybody. But the execution of these models, it like, this takes me back to the days where Games Workshop was the place you wanted to get your models from. These days, it's the place you have to get your rules from a lot of the time. But now, like with this Blood Bowl stuff, this is the place to get models, and this is, I think, Gnomes will probably be the best-selling team they have ever produced for Blood Bowl, because Snotlings, especially now Warhammer is back, because Warhammer was like, I'm going to pick up a couple of boxes of Snotlings for pump wagons and Snotlings squads. I'm like, okay. There's this massive clamoring in the old world sphere to be like, all right, we need gnomes. We need gnomes back in Warhammer or the old world. Let's go, let's go, let's go. But the other thing I was going to say, Trips, is one is that, it's making it more appealing to other players. The second thing is to do with Teams of Legend, because I've seen this bandied around very much. It's probably the loudest comment that we had other than, oh my god, this is cool. The second comment was, oh my god, it's not Chorfs. Where are my
Yeah.
high elves? Why is this team not Tomb Kings? I don't understand. And my question to you, Trips, is how do you think the prevalence of blooming good third-party teams is playing into Games Workshop's thinking process when they're going, right, well, let's bring something out brand new then?
I'd like to think it's not making a massive impact, but I think that would be being extremely naive because they are a public listed company with a share price, and you have to do things to make your share price go up. And people buying stock will absolutely help. So bringing out a new team that you have got a head start on is definitely the way to go. And I think they're strongly influenced by that. And I think that's why we see Blood Bowl preview cycles quite short now, because they don't give all of the third parties that time to go, yes, there's one positioner we haven't told you about, there's a star player we won't tell you about, and yes, it might take us 2 weeks to get the stock to you, but you've got to design and get it sorted.
Because there's this element where, you think about the old team. You run high elves, Ben runs high elves. That there's this element of there's a hardcore Blood Bowl crew that will buy a new team and it comes out because they want to buy it. They want to buy it. They love Games Workshop stuff. They love Blood Bowl stuff, and it's the Games Workshop teams. Unless you need to add a billion things to them, like goblins, are actually not bad value. And
Yeah.
look at them; they're really well done. But there is an element where people are like, where's the where's Tomb Kings, where's Chaos Dwarves, and it's like you're the players that already have Chaos Dwarves. So if the team doesn't come out and isn't monstrously better than the third party team you've already got, you're probably like the
You're
rush,
not going to switch. Yeah.
the clamoring to get it is going to be more about what are my rules changing? Cool. Do I need another positional like you just said? Because Realm of Paths, Grebo, Punga have got Spider. You be gone. Be gone.
Special trait coming to the spider for Tomb Kings in
Hey, maybe there'll be a star
2025.
player spider. That'd be
Yeah.
interesting and horrifying for me. You know, unless a team drops, like for example, if I had the Punga Amazon team when Amazon's dropped, probably wouldn't have got the Games Workshop one. And I wonder if the fact that there are so many good third-party teams out there, I wonder if they're like, well, we're not. Let's bring in new. I don't know whether it's actually playing much into it, but for
Yeah.
me, as if I was in charge of Blood Bowl, there's this like battle of right, we can complete Blood Bowl, but there's probably less market space in a brand new team than there is in a team that's already kind of
Yeah.
saturated.
And maybe it comes down to how they're taking the time to design the new team and test them in detail, and therefore the teams of legend fill that space. I mean, it's not like we're on a fast release cycle, but it's easier to update a team of legend and tweak them than it is to go gnomes. What should we give gnomes? Because as you can see from the stream you did the other night,
Yeah.
what skills are you going to stream? Well, just about every skill got at least 3 mentions.
Yeah.
I can imagine going, I'm playtesting GNOME version 497. They're
This
still
time they
annoying. They
don't
still
have
explode.
dodge. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. I am a little bit gutted that it isn't Squigs. I this is very, very, very cool. But
Yeah.
I just feel
This
like
does push Squigs further away,
I
doesn't
know.
it?
I don't understand. It's like in this one circumstance, it's like they don't want money. Like everybody loves Squigs. Everybody loves nonsense.
I'd rather have gnomes than Squigs.
Well, anyway, that's everything for today.
And for me, the reason why is the number of people that have said a non-purist Blood Bowl player has looked at that team and gone, "Ooh, I might like to play that."
Yeah.
And any time you get a new team come out and even one person more has played because of it, that's good for the game.
Yes. You know what? You are correct. The other really funny question, Trips, and I'd love to hear your response to this, is what are the chances the next Blood Bowl 3 team are gnomes?
I would say the chances of that are similar to.
The chances of anything coming from Mars are 1,000,000 to 1.
Yeah, probably that's about the same odds rate. I would, yeah, I think if they are in Blood Bowl 3 before 2026, I would be shocked.
That would be wicked if they were, though, because there's a bit of a wow aspect to them as well, and
Yeah,
I think that that could potentially grab some people, more
yeah,
people.
it does. I've got one question that I'm dying to ask you about the gnomes, though, in relation to other things that have been happening in the Blood Bowl community recently. How do you think the NAF's going to react to gnomes? Because
Yes,
they're
I
not
did.
Bretonians.
There's been some cracking, absolute cracking memes. That's why you should come and join a Discord channel. I will say our Discord channel is spikes heavily towards family friendly, but
Yes.
that doesn't mean the memes are any less humorous.
Yeah.
How is the NAF going to react? It's quite funny. A lot of the tournaments, so I think even NAF C have flagged up immediately and said, no, you can't bring gnomes. To be fair, that is in May or the end of April, May time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, given that, yeah, I mean, it's a 200 plus tournament, so you don't want you're going to
Yeah.
want at least, I think you say kind of like a week for every 50 players, 40 players is what you want from a roster guideline. So if you're having a 200 plus, you want a month roster deadline. These guys
Yeah.
aren't going to be in before the roster
No,
deadline.
I think for really big tournaments, I'd absolutely do that. I think if you're running a small tournament and you're using tour play or you're using another roster system, get these in as soon as you come out. I suspect you'll be having a lot of fun. We know Ben was actually at a tournament on Saturday when
When
this
it was
came out,
spoiled, I know.
and he said that there was nothing but talk about gnomes in between the rounds, and everyone brewing up which tournament will I be taking gnomes to. So
I tell you what, if they don't have dodge, then it isn't going to be the tackle fest that we were expected to be. Because actually, you think, oh, cool, a new super popular dodge team. I'll take dwarves and eat. But if they don't have
yes.
tackle, they got wrestle instead. This is the anti-dwarf stunty team,
Oh,
which makes me ever so happy.
yeah.
Hmm.
There's that's the nice thing now. We've had the team tease. There's still more we definitely need to know. But do we want to know more? Or let's put it this way. I think we're all on Warhammer Community a little bit more than we've been in the last few weeks.
Refresh, refresh, refresh. Absolutely. And on that note, I imagine tomorrow we'll have more information. We probably won't. You're exactly right, Trips, because last time I don't think they dropped the team info till the pre-order Sunday post had been up and done.
Yeah.
So probably the right way to do it if I was Games Workshop. But I wouldn't dally too long. I think these guys, they need to get them out the door in the next couple of weeks, because I think beginning of April we'll have a gnome team from a third party. Um, that that is exciting, because we need to find a way to put a gnome team together so that we've got a team to use if we can't get hold of the Games Workshop team.
Oh, absolutely. I've already started to think, oh, Monday night, gnome night for the next few weeks as we test them versus
I might go
top
build
tier.
some on Hero Forge, actually. I reckon
Yeah.
Hero Forge has got gnomes. Surely to goodness. Hero Forge. Oh, I don't know why it's capital. Hero Forge. Build your perfect model. Because that might be a way of doing it. I know you have to pay for the STLs, but they're about $5 each. How many positionals how many pieces do we need? You can get hold of a fox. That's
Yeah.
fine. So you need species. I appreciate this is not good audio, but we'll be done in a second. There's dwarves.
They have
Gnome.
gnomes.
Gnome. Click, click. Let's go, gnome. Let's go. Doesn't look like a gnome. Oh, it's loading. Oh, oh dear. That looks more like a Harry Potter goblin.
Yeah.
All right, that might be the way I do it during a midnight feed if Libby is deciding that she doesn't want to sleep anymore. Come on, where's the proper beard? Let's have a full-on beard. Yeah. All right. Potential there. I don't think that is quite the look we're going for with gnomes. Oh, you got the chin bit as well. Great big bushy beard.
Oh,
There he goes. Pointy hat.
yeah.
So, all right.
Captain Gnome.
Let's get rid of that awful hat. Okay, cool. So we can do that. So if we can't get hold of a decent third party one, at least I can bust up a proper gnome roster for now. But I've kept you for long enough, Trips. Lovely to catch up.
Excellent. Good to talk to you.
Any more on gnomes?
I think we are literally gnomed out, and we'll wait to see what information we can reel in over the next few days.
Oh, very nice. There you go. Angling for a compliment on that one. I will say this podcast will be coming out Friday for the Patreons, Saturday for everybody else, and then Monday night Blood Bowl will be. Yeah, Monday night football. It's always there on my lips. Will be happening. So if, yeah, come and join us. It'll probably. I don't. I might just fix the results actually and just go Skaven versus Norse. The Patreon have chosen Norse. Skaven's pretty good, and I do have them painted. All right, zog it. That's what we'll do. And then if gnomes land tomorrow, we can run gnomes instead of Skaven.
Well, and if gnomes are in the preview on Sunday, then yeah, that will give us plenty to talk through.
I like it. Right. Anyway, we're going to wrap up Trips. Thank you very much, mate. Nice to see you again.
Good to see you.
And everybody else, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy gnoming. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the channel even further, please like and subscribe. It really does help us out. Or come join us on YouTube members or in Patreon, where you can get exclusive access to some content, some loot, early access to basically everything we do, as well as regular competitions. Or you can pick up some Bonehead Podcast loot either on our website at boneheadpodcast.com. We've got the Dungeon Bowl things, we've got tokens and stuff like that, or on our Spreadshirt site as well. Everything you do just helps us make more content and hopefully do it of better quality. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Happy blocking.